What's going on, beautiful people? Thank you for tuning in and watching and listening to my videos. I appreciate your appreciation of my rants, my rambles, and we're gonna talk about social anxiety here. And I'm already guessing this is gonna be a long rant because it's a complex topic. I think there needs to be an understanding of the cause of social anxiety before we can deal with the cause, the root cause, right? So I'm gonna dive right into history and prehistory, right? You need to understand where humans come from and how they've evolved for the vast majority of their history, so you can understand why social anxiety is such a big deal and why so many people feel the anxiety of being in a society. Social society, right? So the modern human in its current modern anatomy has been around the planet for 200,000 years. Now there's new evidence that's suggesting that we've been here longer, 300,000 years. Irrelevant in this case, because let's just go with the conventional wisdom that is for now, that is 200,000 years. It's not that relevant really to the topic. Bottom line, 200,000 years. And we've only started societies and civilizations and cities 10,000 years ago with the invention of agriculture, where we can finally have where we can sort of have crops for the whole year, right? We can harvest something for the future. 10,000 years, that's 5% of modern human existence. 5%. 10,000 years is 5% of 200,000 years. And if the new evidence gets proven that we've been here 300,000 years, that 5% is like what? Like 3-4%, do the math, right? It's even less than that. So we've been in cities, in civilizations, in societies for only 5% of our existence, for only 10,000 years. The other 95, and you also have to get into account even what happened before the 200,000 years, which is, our evolution from apes, from monkeys, right? So you might go and say millions of years, really. But what you have to understand is for 200,000 years and millions of years even, we have evolved in the wilderness. We have evolved in the natural, raw world. Now, this is nature. Cities are nature. It's just human, man-made. We manipulated nature and we created these things, these cities, these societies. They're still nature. They come out of nature, right? Like the houses, they're built out of stone and wood, right? Like it's still nature, but it's just like manipulated nature. But for the vast majority of human existence, whether it's in the modern anatomical form or whether if you want to go as far as coming from monkeys, then we've evolved in the wilderness and we've evolved in tribes, usually no more than 150 people, usually somewhere between 50 and 150 people. And this is how we've evolved, at least for the majority of the 200,000 years as modern humans. In small bands, small tribes, no more than 150 people, tops, and sort of nomadic, living off the land, moving around, traveling from one place to another place. So your body and your brain evolved for that kind of environment. And the modern human right now is not different at all from the human that was 200,000 years ago. Not at all. Same human. Almost exact same human, okay? So now you're putting that human that is evolved for that kind of existence. Small tribes, in nature, nomadic, moving around. And you put that human into a society of what? Most of you guys live in cities, right? Like my city has 500,000 people and that's a small city, right? I mean, cities now like have 1 million plus, right? Some cities have like 20-30 million people, the biggest cities in the world, right? You put them now, you're used to having no more than 100 people around you, right? That since you're growing up. That's a different thing. These people since you're growing up. They're your family, 100 people of family. Suddenly, you're put in this place where there's 1 million people around you. That is a lot of stimulation. I don't know if that is a lot of external human stimulation for a human. That's a lot to take in. Coming from a place where you evolved to be around no more than 100 people that you knew every single one of them from birth. They're like your family, your uncles and your aunts and your cousins and brothers and sisters. That's how it is. To now, I'm surrounded by like a fucking million strangers. I don't even know them. A million strangers, right? Yeah, that's going to cause anxiety by default, right? Now look, humans are adaptable, right? This is what brings us into the make us top of the food chain is our adaptability. But even that has its limits, okay? Even that has its limits. And even that you can adapt to something doesn't mean it's the most optimal thing for you. You know how many people are adapted to working shitty jobs? They're adapted to it. Their adaptability, right? It's a survival mechanism. Does that mean it's optimal for them? Their health is deteriorating and they're feeling like shit and they're feeling miserable. Yeah, they're adaptable, but it's not optimal. In the same way, yeah, you can adapt to society. You can adapt to being surrounded by a million people and be okay with it, but it's not the most optimal thing for you. It just isn't. So this is why I say it's very important to understand where you come from, where humans come from, and what's the most optimal place for us to be in, historically speaking. So you can understand that social anxiety is a completely natural phenomenon. It's a completely natural byproduct of civilization, of society. We're not built for this. We're not built for city-states. We're not built for having a million strangers around us. We're not built to be confined to these small places we call an apartment or a house. We're not designed for that. That causes anxiety. Humans love space. You go out into the wilderness and you see space in front of you, you feel good. You feel good. It's an innate thing in your DNA. You feel good. Oh man, there's a lot of space here. You feel good, right? And if you hang around country people who have like their own farm and stuff, you'll see they're so friendly and they're so fucking free in their expression, right? I hang around, there's a horse, like a farm here, they have horses and stuff. And sometimes I hang around there and I talk to the people that own it, and they're free, they're carefree, they're loving, like they're nice, they're kind, they're just like, they're free, and they're closer to their animal side. So like you can make shit jokes around them, you can make dirty jokes around them, and they get it. I mean, they're living, they have animals around them all the time, so they're connected to the animal world. So we're designed for that. But we're not designed to be confined to these little fucking spaces we call apartments or houses. That's not how we're designed. That's not how we can adapt to it. We're all adapted to it, clearly. You know, I'm in a small fucking room right now. I'm adapted to it. You're adapted to it. But does that mean we're happy with it? Does that mean it's the most optimal thing for us? No, not really. So understanding that is very important. Understanding that your social anxiety or experiencing, you know, moments of, you know, maybe you're okay with it, you're adapted to it, but sometimes you're like, man, I feel anxious. Like, that's normal. Most people feel social anxiety because there's something fundamentally wrong about the existence of society. Something fundamentally wrong about it. Now look, am I saying let's go back to the cave age? That is completely unrealistic. We can't. And once an animal has been domesticated, that's the human, it can't be undomesticated. That's it. What we can do is we can do what, like in the San Diego Zoo. The San Diego Zoo, there's a zoo there. They basically mimic the natural environment as much as possible for the animals there. So what we can do is we can take these cities that we built now. We have way too many people on the planet as is. It's not practical to go back to the wilderness with 7 billion people. Or is it? I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. But once the animal has been domesticated, that's it. That's it for them. So that's it for us. We're not going back to the wilderness. But we can build a zoo. We're in a zoo right now. That's what a city is. That mimics the natural environment as much as possible, right? So have more space for people and more nature, and give people like a house, have like a, you know, lots of land, lots of this, right? I mean, some countries you can't do that. I know I'm talking because I'm in Canada, that's kind of doable. But of course, in some countries, like, it's too small to do that, right? So we kind of fucked up already by having too many people on the planet, and shit's rough, man. Shit's rough. Being a human is not easy right now. So that's very important to understand the social anxiety. Now, because we're not getting rid of this society thing anytime soon, maybe in 500 years when we reduce the size of humanity, and that's already happening, right? Like, they're saying after we reach 10 billion, we're going to start to slowly go down, right? Because people are having less kids, more people getting richer, therefore they have less kids. This is the tendency. So maybe not another 1,000 years until we can reduce the number of the people on this planet enough for us not to need the society thing anymore, right? Or to need it much less. But in the meantime, we need it. In the meantime, we're in it. We chose it. We're here. Our ancestors, which we are, if you believe in reincarnation, you're the ancestors. We made this mess and we're here to experience the mess. Okay? So, since we gotta own up to this mess that we created as the ancestors, because we are the ancestors, we gotta own up to it. Okay, so we gotta sort of make the most of the cards we're dealt at the moment. We're in society. We're not gonna escape it anytime soon. I will probably way later on when I'm in my 40s or something. I'll just fucking get the fuck out some mountains or something. But not in the meantime. I'm here. I need to spread my word to people. I need to be in society. I need to, you know, I need to be in society. I just have an urge to be in society right now, despite the fact that I don't like it. You probably same thing, right? So let's deal with the social anxiety now. First of all, you understand where it's coming from. Now, the best way, in my opinion, to deal with the social anxiety is to start conversations with people and have uncomfortable conversations with people, right? Go start up conversations with strangers, right? Go talk to them. Hey, what's your name? What do you do? Go talk to chicks. Go and fucking approach chicks and just say, hey, I think you're beautiful. You know, have a conversation with her, or maybe don't, or maybe she's gonna be fucking awkward about it because it's so weird to do that, right? But you do all these things. You subject yourself to as much uncomfort and discomfort as you can, as much uncomfortable social situations as you can, right? As much as you can. The more the better. The more raw it is, the better it is. If you can go approach 100 women and go ask for the numbers and then get rejected by every single one of them, that anxiety is gonna disappear altogether. That fear of rejection and just anxiety, social anxiety is gonna disappear altogether. If you can go to 100 strangers and start a conversation with them and say half of those conversations are awkward as fuck because the people you're talking to are awkward, but you won't be awkward anymore because you're like, oh fuck, you see it coming too. You're like, oh, you know, whatever. But then you'll have like 50 good conversations with people, right? And then see, suddenly now you're breaking down these social barriers that are there, these social conventions of the society that were there, the rules. And the more you can just disregard authority and disregard social conventions and normal behavior, the more free you will be, but also the more you'll be able to free people from that. You'll be living an example. I had a guy come up to me once. Just to give you background, you know, in the gym, I have my music on and I go fucking berserk. Like I am dancing, I am jumping up and down, I'm doing that Ronaldo celebration. Like I am in my own world and I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I've had like the manager come up to me like one time and told me, can you please just keep it down because it's intimidating to other people. And then I told her, okay, but then I don't give a fuck. Like I come back doing my thing. And I had somebody come up to me and tell me, bro, like you're a fucking inspiration. Like you inspire other people like myself to be themselves, to be more of themselves, to just like be, this is who I am and this is who I am, right? And I've had several people tell me that. So you also, by doing that, by breaking all social normal behavior and disregard what society is and normal behavior and conventions and all of that, disregard it all, just fucking disregard it. The more you can do that, the more you can engage in that kind of behavior, you know, the more you're free. But then the anxiety disappears, right? Like I had a period in my life where I mass approached so many women, and now I don't do it anymore because it's, you know, it's like whatever. But I did it just to break. Like I'd go to women in the streets, you know, bus stops, everywhere. I just fucking go and say something, you know, and the anxiety just disappears at some point, right? Because you're breaking every possible rule of society that says you can't do. Like there's a rule, you can't go up to a woman on a bus stop, or you can't do this, or you can't, you know what I mean? Like it's all rules within the society that are unspoken rules, but they're there in the mass consciousness. It's like you break all of them. Just go ahead and break all of them, man. Break all of them. And then you'll be more at ease with yourself. And this takes practice, this takes time. This takes practice and this takes time. It takes practice and it takes time, okay? It takes a lot of discomfort, it takes a lot of balls. It takes a lot of balls to do that. right? If you're a girl, it takes a lot of ovaries to do that. It takes courage, it takes bravery to do that. You need to be brave in this society. You need to be brave in the modern society. Modern society is fucked up. It's sick, it's pathological. It is just a perfect environment for unhealthiness, right? For negativity. But to be a beaming positive thing in the society, look, like I said, we're the ancestors. We fucked up this planet. We come back here, incarnate again to live the consequences out. And we're having to deal with the society thing. We're having to deal with the anxiety that comes with it because we've created it in the first place. We fucked up as a society. We gotta live with it now. We gotta own up to it. And the best thing to do is use that adaptability mechanism that you have in your human self. Use it and just start to subject yourself to as many uncomfortable situations as you possibly can. And break as many social rules as you possibly can. And after a year or two of doing that, you will fucking destroy all social anxiety. Like you will be that fucking guy dancing in the gym. You'll be that guy going up to strangers and going up to chicks. If you're like a chick, you go up to her and say, "I like you." You know, you'll be that guy. And it's a freeing. It's very freeing. You're free, right? You're free. You're free. You're a free soul. You're a free person. And yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna end this video here. God bless you all, guys. I love every single one of you, but don't forget to subscribe or you're gonna sleep with the fishes.